one of my favorite fighters with disability is Ilia Topuria, because Ilia Topuria is deaf and he has hearing aid, so he can hear with hearing aid, and he has such a good hearing aid that maybe at first you don't realize, but he's actually deaf. And even though he's deaf, this does not seem to influence his fighting style in a negative way. And he's also really good at lip reading. But yeah, when I first saw him, I thought he's like a deaf guy, you know, like Theo once said, like a deaf guy who goes to the gym. Like, this is what Ilia Topuria is. And in that way, I'm really proud of his accomplishments, you know, like for the deaf community, this is a big thing. And also, he improved his speaking a lot. Like, I remember when he was in press conferences and he couldn't even speak English, you know, because of the deafness, and he was not as good at lip reading, he was not as good as like speaking. So he did a great job. He's really good at showing his skills when it comes to speaking, that you don't even realize that he's deaf. So this makes him actually like really, really good. Another fighter that is really high level and has disabilities is Nick Diaz, okay? Not Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is absolutely like non-verbal, so he cannot speak coherently or understandably, but Nate Diaz is one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC and one of the most well-known because of his fights with Conor McGregor and also his other fights. There are so many, I cannot even name them. But yes, he became a multimillionaire, he's super successful, and he is non-verbal, you know. Not only that, he also has sclerosis, okay? So his back is not even aligned, he kind of looks like that. So with this in mind, I'm really, really impressed by what he was able to achieve, you know. All the great fights, all the money, all the publicity. He's someone who everyone can look up to, you know. Even if you cannot speak, even if you have scoliosis, you can still make it as an MMA fighter. And another MMA fighter that really shows this is Tom Aspinall, you know. Tom Aspinall is a high-functioning artist, but this has not changed the fact that he's one of the most, like one of the best fighters in the world right now, you know, like the heavyweight champ, really good fighter. But yes, he's an artist. Like, sometimes you can see that by the way he looks, like even in this picture, by the way he stands, you know, he kind of looks like a 5-year-old kid in an adult body. And also when he's like talking to adults, he sometimes doesn't know what to say, doesn't know how to reply in a correct manner. Like, especially with this Nina drama interview, some people got upset because he said, have you ever been fingered by a UFC fighter? But I just think that he kind of didn't understand the humor, you know, so he thought this was appropriate because of his autism. So I think as a viewer, you have to take a step back and understand where he is coming from, okay? And he's coming from a side of love and from a side of showing compassion, and not from a dark side, okay? It's not from a dark side. He didn't mean it in a rude way, and I think even Nina Drama realized that, you know. And yeah, so I think even to fight like him, you need to have autism, because he has his chin up high, even though he's in heavyweight, you know, like every single punch can knock him out, you know. He just eats shots, you know, like Curtis Blades, bro. He was in the first fight, he was throwing bombs, you know, like this was like, I know the first fight ended in a fluke, but Curtis hit him with some bombs, Sergey hit him with some bombs, and I know this doesn't matter because Tom won, you know, but I mean the way Tom won, only Tom can do that, you know. If you don't have autism, you cannot do that. If you don't have autism, you cannot take this punch of Sergey Blachowicz, not Sergey Blachowicz, of Sergei Pavlovich. So he's absolutely a decorated veteran in the UFC. He has a bright future, and he shows people autism doesn't mean that you cannot achieve anything, you know? You can achieve everything, even with autism. Yeah.